Hello, hello, and welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. I'm your host, Rainbow Raaja, and today I really wanted to talk about humbleness and how I noticed that in a world of social media, in a world where in order to succeed, you have to really make yourself look very big, very grandiose in order to kind of sell yourself to the mass market. And this is not just like this is even like your personality, to get friends, to get partners, and how being humble has really become a forgotten art, I guess. And I have noticed that a lot of people mistake humbleness for weakness or insecurity. And I would really like to just explore the essence of being humble and why it is important and why more people should really be practicing this trait, this quality, and what it brings to your sense of self-worth. And yeah, so we've already talked this month about clearing out your emotional baggage and your physical baggage and taming your ego so that you don't become a monster, pretty much. You don't allow your ego to be a monster and control your life. And where humbleness comes into play is you are recognizing that even though that you have all these skills, that you have all these talents, that you don't have to project those into the world. You don't have to advertise them in order for the people that you need to come into your life to come into your life. You don't need to go around dressing up and, advertising yourself in this really big way. And I only say advertising because the world has come to a place where we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and I mean even podcasting to an extent is everybody has to advertise all these posts on the social media and trying to get people to be drawn into you by talking about how great you are and all these skills that you have and all these amazing things that you can do. And people, approach that in different ways. Some people dress up in extravagant outfits to get attention in that way. Some people try and find a niche market and really squeeze as much out of that niche market as possible. And other people do it in their actions, like, being really big with how they present themselves. Like, oh yes, I skydive with da 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 da, and oh, I just had dinner with this person, and name dropping here and not name dropping there. And, I noticed that the people who are the most genuine in their fields of practice, in their careers, the people who are usually the most capable at what they do, who have a lot of talents and maybe are not as well recognized widely, are people who have mastered being humble. They're people who stay off the radar. They're people who live a little quieter lives. And you might wonder, why is being humble such an important thing? Well, I practice being humble. I practice being humble because when I was younger, I didn't practice being humble. I very much like to tell everybody, oh yes, I can do this and I can do that. Look, I'm an artist. I write music. I'm in a band. I can write poetry. I do this. I do that. Look at all the instruments I play. Look at all these cool things I can do. And nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. I did not make a lot of friends that way. And a lot of times people became jealous or they just kind of thought I was faking it. And I got on a lot of people's bad sides by being confident, too confident, cocky, being cocky in my abilities. And so there really is a level of confidence that you can exert before, if you want to go into a career, if you want to, have a field of practice, if you want, you have to be real careful about how you present yourself. For some reason, the world is so focused on our image and labels and what box you fit in. And this has become such a huge problem that people don't even know what boxes they fit in personally. And we have a lot of issues in that regard. And so when you are humble, the thing is you realize you don't need to fit in anyone's box. That you are perfect the way you are. That you have all these strengths, and opportunities will come to you. People will approach you. You don't need to flaunt your stuff to be noticed or recognized or appreciated. And as hard as it is to take a back seat in this world where everyone is shoving their content in everybody else's face, and it really is a rat race to who's going to be the next whatever, best tarot reader, best shaman, best whatever. When are we going to stop competing? When are we going to realize that it's more appropriate to be at peace and to know you're taken care of, to know that the world doesn't have to revolve around you and how amazing you are, and in order to have a secure income or to have a secure frame of mind about yourself. Being humble brings me so much peace. I don't need to convince my clients why they should wait 2 to 3 weeks for an open appointment. I don't need to. Why? Because I mean, obviously, if I'm booked out 2 weeks, there's a reason for that. I don't need to explain myself. If somebody, doesn't like what I say in a session, I don't need to explain myself away and apologize and people please them into booking another session. Because I know the information I gave was coming from a neutral place, that is not being swayed by my desire to have them like me. I get comfort from knowing that I don't have to scramble, that I don't need to please strangers to have them like me, to follow me on Instagram. I don't need people to follow me on Instagram. I don't even focus on Instagram. If I post Instagram twice a month, I consider that a feat. I'm yay, I posted on Instagram. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I remembered to do that. But I focus on living my life. And I think more people should. We're forgetting that there's a world outside of our homes. I know we're all in quarantine. We're all stuck in our homes for a long period of time. But just sitting outside in my hammock, listening to the birds, watching the trees gently sway in the breeze, is there's nothing like it. And in those moments, I sing with the birds. I'm just content. And that's living in a humble moment. I don't need my phone to record the experience and share it with the world. Because the experience isn't for the world. This is my experience. I'm living my life for me. Well, who are you living your life for? How many times do you compromise your integrity or your beliefs or your own health for another person? How often are you like, I'm so tired, but this person asked me to do this. I'm on the brink of a nervous breakdown, but I need to get this and this and this done for these people. Start saying no. Just back up a little bit. It's really important to be humble enough in your own body, in your own life, to go, it's time I black out on social media for a while and focus on my family, on my world. How much chaos is happening in your inner world? Are you still? Is it quiet in there? If it's not, how can you cultivate that? What beliefs about yourself can you shift? Like, if we just take a moment, like, what skills do you have? What qualities about yourself do you really, really see as strengths? Or that other people have pointed out as strengths? It's usually those things that people compliment. The things people are real envious of, and you might notice, like, oh man, I really wish I could ... draw like you, write like you, do that like you. Man, I'm so jealous. Or, oh man, that's such a cool talent. What do you have? Maybe you're really courageous. Maybe you're so honest and people love that about you. Maybe you're brutally honest, where you say things that may not be the nicest, but people really respect that about you. Take a look at the inventory of your qualities. You don't need to flaunt them. They will naturally shine through. You should focus on creating an inner world that is peaceful, where you're not scrambling to show somebody else how amazing you are. You need to recognize it yourself and be at peace with that. Know your power, know your worth, know your limitations. Don't jeopardize your integrity or your health, your frame of mind. Be humble in arguments or disagreements with others. It's okay to recognize that you both have difference of opinion and say, okay, that's okay. I'm going to go sit outside on the hammock and, I'm glad you believe that, and you just leave. You just take a walk. All right? Now, being humble, it may sound really easy. Maybe I'm making it sound easier than it is. Maybe there's people out there that are like, I can't do that, or I will, really put myself in a bad position. Well, I don't know how that's possible, because the way you feel about yourself is mirrored into the world. So if you feel that you have to prove yourself to another person, that other person is going to feel like you're faking it to them, because you're going to be pushing so hard. When you push, you're not engaging, you're not encouraging someone to come closer to you. When you're pushing someone away. You have to remember that, even in the game of dating, like, the girls that get all the dates are always the mysterious ones and the mysterious guys, the ones that are quiet in the corner, because, they're not worried about making an impression. Everybody's wondering, like, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Usually they're not thinking about anything. But the point is they don't have to worry about it, because the opportunity comes to them. They're humble in the corner. They probably aren't wearing makeup. They're probably not wearing a fancy suit. And they're not talking about all the, famous people they know and about their Mercedes. They're not talking about all the nice things they own or their talents, unless someone asks. Unless someone takes note, like, hey, I'm really curious about who you are. And I think if we all were living a little bit more of a humble life, and we recognize that just because somebody doesn't go around tooting their own horn, it doesn't mean that they're not confident in their capabilities. That sometimes people just don't like to seem like an arrogant A, you know? I sure don't. And I don't want people, thinking that I feel that way about myself. And all too often, I'm watching a lot of these influential spiritual people online. I mean, it sometimes makes me a little sick because they're trying so hard. They're trying so hard that who they were and maybe why they got into this in the first place feels lost in translation. They're living such plush lives. They're not authentic anymore. They're putting on all kinds of acting and personality to get certain audiences interested. But they're not real anymore. They're not real people. They're scripts. They're well-written scripts. It makes me so sad. They're not humble. They're not living like from a state of truth and authenticity anymore. What happened? What happened to the world? This place wasn't like this in the 90s. It wasn't like this in the 80s. When did we become such fake-ish? I don't want to project that, but I mean, it's a sad observation that I've made. So I encourage you, whoever you are, live your truth. Be humble. You don't have to go, out there with a megaphone screaming at the top of your lungs. You don't have to dress in an extravagant way unless, like, I love to dress up. I like to be in costume sometimes, but I don't do it for other people. If I dress up in a costume, it's only for me. I don't even take pictures and post all the things I dress up in and all the outfits I hand sew, or, nobody knows that I have an entire closet of cosplay costumes that I make for myself. Like, nobody knows that. Well, now you guys do. Oh, darn. But the point is like, I don't need to do any of that because I'm living my life for me, not for anyone else. I don't need to toot horns. Well, unless it's an air horn, because those are really fun to toot. But I just really want to encourage you guys to practice being humble. And a good way of doing that is just for the next week, be mindful of what you say and how you say it to others. How do you talk about yourself? Not just out loud. Like, what kind of self-talk do you have going on in your head? Being humble isn't just about how much you talk about yourself to others or about all your amazing achievements, but it's also recognizing, like, being humble, there's a second side that maybe not so many people talk about, and that's being gentle on yourself when you make mistakes. Like, you don't have to be your hardest critic. We all make mistakes. We're all human. And maybe having Hollywood movies and social media stars, we've forgotten that everyone struggles, that we all have trials and errors, and that we make mistakes, and that we have areas of our lives and our personalities that we're constantly trying to evolve and make better, or for some of us completely forget about and ignore. And it's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you get angry. It's okay if, even if you mess up real big, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. Take a deep breath. Do what healing you can do. resolve yourself to be better and to not beat yourself up about it. You don't have to turn your mind into an endless torture chamber where you can remind yourself how horrible you are for your mistakes, because that isn't going to improve your way of life. It's not going to encourage you to be a better person. But tomorrow is a new day. And I believe everyone has it within them to have the self-control, so long as they practice being mindful, being aware, taking a beat before making an action or saying something. Like, just take a moment, hold your tongue, take a deep breath, think things through. Anyway, I know this was a little bit of a tangent today, a little bit of just a rant, but this has been on my mind for the past week, as I had a family friend come by and talk about she has such a big heart. She is getting groceries for several families, and she's at the brink where she has a kid. She just doesn't have the free time. She works a job, and she's been taking groceries to these families who are not doing so well during COVID times, and she just could not handle it. And she's a little too humble, where she won't go up to these people and say, it is not within my capability to handle all this work at the moment. And there have been other incidences this particular month that have come up that have been triggering a lot of lessons on humbleness, where I'm recognizing, where humbleness could be used, where someone has way too much humbleness, and where it's important to find that balance of having enough self-confidence while also being humble, to find that middle ground and to live in a strong, healthy, authentic way. So, just try your best to be humble. If you're too humble, maybe start voicing your opinions a little louder. Use your ego in that way, right? And, you guys just live authentically. Really appreciate the world beyond the screens, beyond the headphones, beyond the technology, because you only get to live this life, as the you are right now, to our knowledge, this one time. And it goes by so fast. And the only moment you have power in to make changes, to have awareness, to have liberation, is the present. And so many of us are prisoners to belief systems, to our own minds and feelings. And it's time to break free. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope that these were some things to think about. If you guys want me to go any deeper into weird tangents like this, go ahead and send me an email. Let me know if you like this, because I sure don't know unless you guys let me know. If you have time, please take a look at the award that Rainbows Rising was nominated for, and vote, because we were nominated for an award. And I would really appreciate any votes. If you enjoy the show, if you believe this content is supporting your way of life and giving you some good help in your life. And it is such an honor to continue to provide this for all of you. And I'm so blessed to have you here with me. I'm so thankful. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And keep rising. Keep rising. I hope you guys work together. This isn't a race, right? This is just, an experience. So have fun with it.
Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today. Support Rainbow's Rising podcast. Go. Join the Discord community. Check out the Patreon. Get some stickers, custom tarot cards. Check out the merch. The merch. You know you want to. Go connect with Rainbow Raaja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide. guiding you to your ascension.